Hi, everyone. I'm Christina Wazak, and I'm here with Dominique Carson. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me, Christina. It's been a long time.
Yes, it has. It has. So, for people who don't know you, first, thanks for being here. And so, if you could just share a little bit about you, like, um, what college did you go to, and what kind of education have you gotten? What kind of degrees, certificates have you obtained?
Okay, so I'm a Brooklyn College graduate. So I did my bachelor's in journalism and Italian. I graduated in 2012, and then I received my master's of science degree in media studies in 2014. And then I received my massage license in training from CUNY Queensborough Community College. So I am now in two different divergent careers, massage therapy and a freelance journalist, but everything started at Brooklyn College in the summer of 2008. I was just fresh out of high school, graduated from Edward R. Murrow, and you were one of my advisors with Professor Lors, and you guys gave us like a rundown of the campus and the campus life. So that really gave me a final confirmation that I went to the right CUNY school. So that's where everything got started.
I'm so glad to hear it. It makes me think of, yeah, the I think it was called the Pre-Freshman Academy.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I really
yes.
enjoyed
It
doing
was a
that.
scavenger hunt and everything.
Yeah. So when you were at Brooklyn College, what clubs, organizations, what kind of programs did you get involved with?
I was a reporter for Brooklyn College Excelsior. I was a campus ambassador, so I did a lot of volunteer work, a lot of community related projects with Brooklyn College Student Affairs. I was in the Italian Culture Club. I was a secretary, and because of I was a recipient of the Mellon Mays Honors Program. I was able to travel abroad for the winter intercession free of charge. So that was an amazing experience during my time at BC. And I was just involved with a lot of campus events. I was one of the, participate in spoken word. I participated in the Vagina Monologues the last two semesters before I graduated. I was part of different conferences. And that was all about building relationships while I was on campus. And it led to some of the biggest award that I'm a proud of, Wall of Fame recipient. So I was quite busy during undergrad. I was very busy.
I remember that about you. I feel like there wasn't one, some students, they stick with one type of
Hmm.
activity or one area. I feel like you did have quite a few different things. Like you were busy.
Mm. Yes,
So
I truly was.
yeah, but it's great. The things you're saying, it's making me think back to certain things. But so what have you been up to since then?
Well, I graduated with my master's, so I started freelancing when I was still at BC as an undergrad student in 2010. But then I started taking it seriously in 2012, and I had to complete my final assignment in news laboratory with Professor Moses, and I had a chance to interview the original Tuskegee Airmen, the late Floyd William Carter Jr., when they were promoting the movie Red Tails. So that was like my introduction to all the freelance work I completed within the last 8 years. So I just been freelance writing. I've interviewed over 100 celebrities, and I am now a massage therapist, licensed in the state of New York and Virginia, and nationally certified in 46 different states, including Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands. So that's been my journey within the last 8 years, after graduating from BC in 2012.
Wow, congratulations. That's
Thank you.
awesome.
Thank
So,
you.
so I want to take it back a little bit to your time on campus. What was your favorite part of being involved on campus?
I just think being fully engaged, just the different opportunities that were offered to students. Because I didn't want my college experience just to, go to class and go home. I didn't have that experience when I went to high school, so I wanted to keep that regimen going. I just think the activities that I was a part of and seeing how people are engaged and, coming together and just enjoying campus life, it's important. I'm not saying that I'm not taking anything away from academia and studies, but you're able to build a network from those relationships when you're involved. on campus. It was just the act of, learning different things and learning different walks of life from all people. So that was one of the best things. And I would say student affairs and student activities allowed us to participate in different events, whether it was student orientation, whether it was, the passports, where you had your stamp when you volunteered and participated at different events. And it led to my recommendations from Dean Morales when I was applying to graduate school. So I say that I was from those activities, I was able to put myself out there. So just the overall involvement on campus.
And you mentioned Dean Morales, and she became Vice President Morales.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think you were good at the academic, like taking the academic and, the being involved on campus and putting them together,
Yeah.
So what would you say is your biggest accomplishment so far?
The biggest accomplishment was winning that Wall of Fame award in December 2011. That was a special moment for me. I remember my mom, when she was in high school, she won that award in high school. And that's not taking a credit, from high school, but I received it in college. That was a big deal to me. I was the only one selected that year. I was the first African American to get that award. And that is something that I'm proud to this day. That showed that all the hard work and dedication I put into my college years, it was reciprocated at that time.
Yeah, and you definitely deserved it. So who is a leader that you admire, and why do you admire them?
There have been so many different leaders that I've admired and respected throughout my walk of life. Just my home life alone, I came from a lot of strong women in my family growing up, and I just admire their ambition, their drive, their sacrifices. So I seen that early, with my mom, just having that ambition and that determination, and that fueled my desire to be great. But I would say, in terms of the leaders at, Brooklyn College, it was Robert Scott. He was more than just a liaison for the Brooklyn College Honors Academy. He was like the mentor, the fatherly figure to all his students, and just wanted us to succeed. He opened the Black Male Initiative doors in James Hall. Even if you weren't a male, he opened his doors to a lot of different people. And, he became everybody, a person that everybody respected. He was even part of one of his students' weddings and walked her down the aisle because she trusted him. She trusted his leadership. She trusted his stern persona. So I would say, out of all the people I've come across, Robert Scott from BC.
Thanks for sharing that. That wedding part gave me chills.
Yeah.
And I can see why someone would feel that way about him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's great. So then what would you say are some leadership traits that leaders need today, these days?
I think leaders have to be transparent. I think they have to be forthcoming, with the people that's in their team. Like, yes, you are a leader, and yes, you are to lead and advise, but a leader has his followers, a leader has his troopers. So, it's your job and your responsibility to make sure that your team is taken care of and that you don't get too egotistical. I think that people related skills, in addition to the actual credentials and the talent, that soft skill has to come in. And I think understanding that you didn't do this alone, you have to be empathetic. You also have to learn how to listen, as a leader, because a leader has to also admit when there's room for growth, when there's room for improvement, when there's room for constructive criticism. I think that's some of the qualities that leaders are missing from today.
I agree. Well, I want to thank you for sharing that. And like I said, thank you for taking time to, share your experiences and your memories and, accomplishments as well. Is there anything else that you want to share?
Well, I just published my biography on R&B singer Jon B. It's available for in Kindle and paperback. So I just released that today. So I'm very excited. You know, writing articles is one thing, but today I released my first book. It's official. This has been a project that I've been working on for a few months during the pandemic. I have a very supportive fiance. He told me, you know, my industry was affected a great deal, massage, and you know, during the time off while everything was shut down. With his support, you know, and counsel, I really took the time to write my first book. Actually, this is my second book, but this is the first one that was published, and I'm very proud. Like, you know, this happened. You know, I wrote 2 books before I turned 30, and on my after a month after my 2 months after my 30th birthday, I have one physically published and is on Amazon today. And I just found out that I have a phone interview with Pasadena Weekly. That's Jon B's hometown. So that's telling me already that my work has impact as an author now too.
That's amazing. Congratulations. That's
Thank
awesome.
you. Thank you.
I'm gonna get
Thank
that book
you.
because I do like
Thank
Jon
you.
B. Yeah, yeah. For anyone who might not know Jon B off the bat, why would you write a book about him? Who is that? I know you said R&B singer. What kind of
Okay.
songs?
Yeah, of course. Jon B, I feel like he's been in the industry 25 years, and he is the person that wrote the signature song, They Don't Know, later sampled by Chris Brown and Aaliyah. It's just a lot of a younger generation artists, they may know the song, but they don't know the man behind it. And I felt like, you know, Jon is one of my favorite artists of all time. I had an opportunity to interview him 7 years back when he was just starting the route of being independent. And I think people don't understand that without Jon, you wouldn't have a Robin Thicke, you wouldn't have a Justin Timberlake. And a lot of Caucasian artists, they have to go in the pop route to fully transition into R&B, or they have to start off as R&B to get into the door and then transition into pop. With Jon's story, he didn't do that. And I just felt like, you know, this is a man that represented the, you know, the Caucasian males for R&B. Yes, we had Tina Marie, and she kicked the door down back in the 80s and back in the late 70s to the early 90s. But I felt like Jon catapulted that musical sound for the 90s. And then he was the last person to work in the studio with Tupac Shakur before he died. Yeah. So it's a lot of nuggets that people will find out in the book. And I found out some nuggets myself as I was researching the book too.
I didn't realize he was the last one to be in the studio with Tupac.
Mm-hmm. He
Wow.
was the last person in the studio to work with Tupac Shakur. And Tupac was already a fan of Jon B before they collaborated together. And there's been a lot of R&B and hip hop collaborations, but not too many male singers and male hip hop artists, and one with different nationalities. And because of that, Jon B and Tupac Shakur collaboration, that's how you had a collaboration with Robin Thicke and Lil Wayne, or Lil Wayne with Babyface, because of that Tupac and Jon B collaboration. You know, there's been other hip hop collaborations, but Are You Still Down? That was more of an edgier song that came out in the late 90s.
That's another good one. So I don't want to give too much of the book away. Just anybody who watches this video,
Mm-hmm.
you can go buy the book. Because look, we already got a few nuggets.
Yes.
Just off of this, there were a few things I didn't know. So definitely I will get it. And anybody who watches this, I recommend that you buy the book. Let's support Dominique and let's read about Jon B. Let's learn a little bit more. And then we
It's
can have a
called
playlist.
Jon B. It's called Jon B. Are You Still Down? So it was named after his song with Tupac Shakur. I named it Jon B. Are You Still Down? To let him know that fans are still rocking with you. You know, over 25 years later, there are still people that play They Don't Know. You know, that's his signature song, and people still rocking with that. You know, there's still people playing Are You Still Down? There's still people coming to see him live, and he's still touring, you know, to this day. And royalty checks are coming in. Wow. Because there's so many artists now that have sampled his music. A lot of younger generation artists sampled his music over the years. So, yeah.
Another one is Don't Talk.
Yes, that was a big one in 2001. They played that when I graduated from elementary school, and that was my mom's reception. The song that she walked out to during her reception from her first marriage. So that was a very popular song in 2001. Yeah, that was a very, very popular song. My god sister daughter was conceived from the Cool Relax album. So it's a popular album.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure Jon B has been told a few times that,
Yes.
his album was used for that. Well, all right. So I feel like this is just like, it's like a little taste of what you have in that book.
Yes.
So
Yes.
yeah, and the timing for us to be talking about it is perfect. So
Hmm.
again, I want to thank you for taking time out, and I'm excited for your interview with the Pasadena.
Yes.
Yeah,
Pasadena Weekly.
Weekly. That's awesome. So, and
Thank
good luck,
you.
and good luck with
Thank you.
all
Thank
of
you.
it.
Thank you.
Yeah, so thanks again, and everyone who's watching, we'll catch you for another one. Make sure you get that book first, though, okay? Bye.